how do there, chums? 'Tis I, Captain of the Stews, and today, chums, I'm doing a bit of a response video to two videos that Professor Cynical has put out there. One is Hello Games being bought out by Microsoft, and the other is Hello Games let leak their new title through their financial datas of this year or previous year, because we always work in a year advance here in the UK. So I'm going to do a deep dive into that, people. So firstly, is Microsoft going to be buying Hello Games' studio? Now this is something that I saw another content creator mention a few weeks back, Jim's NMS. Yes, but I don't believe they are. If you read the actual article, it states before the acquisition of Bethesda and Activision that went through the courts. So yes, they would have had the money to have bought a fair few studios prior to then, but it looks like they made their decision at being Bethesda. They even made a shortlist, and Hello Games did not make the shortlist. So inside this article, it actually mentions both of those things. So to say, is Hello Games still in the crosshairs? I very much doubt it. They went for who they went for, and they made their decisions, people. So yeah, I can't see that happening. I will do a full circle back onto this Microsoft buy-in Hello Games towards the end of the video, so stay tuned because I'm going to give you my full synopsis on why I don't think it's going to ever happen. But anyways, moving on a little, moving on to the new IP idea that Professor Cynical has found inside of the financial datas. Now diving into this year's financial datas, you can see there that Hello Games is still run by Sean of the Murrays, and the secretary is his lovely missus. Okay, well we'll come back to that as well in a bit, because it looks like Hello Games has opened up shares for their staff. Yeah, I can't find Hello Games being shared on the stock market. Believe me, I've tried to see if I can invest and buy my own shares, because you can see here their profit to year to date, they've actually doubled their amount of profit, which is quite interesting and something to make note of. Their profit has doubled, they've brought it to multiple platforms now, so they're doing it very well profit-wise. All those that have invested or put in the investment into the shares, it states here that they opened up shares to something like 5 members of the team. Now you can see the signatories for the actual shares or shareholders, or those that signed off against the shares. I can't really work out whether they're the shareholders or just those that signed off the shares, but there's 5 signatures in total. So I don't know whether that coincides. I can't really say for sure. I'm not a financial genius. But there you go, people. That's everything on the screen that I got for you on shares for the actual company. But look, if they did invest, they've almost doubled their money if you're going by profit alone, people, which is a very good investment. If I could invest in shares in Hello Games, I would, but I don't believe they've floated it out to the public. Heck no. So why would they offer their staff shares? Now yes, they might be offering their staff shares because they're about to launch a new IP, which means that hopefully they get better dividends in their shares year on year. Rather than give them bonuses, having shares is a very good and easy way to do that. If the company wins, they win. Heck yes, it's a bonus all round if they choose to invest. It's a very clever option. So perhaps that's all it is. It's a better bonus scheme for staff, for those that have been long-standing members of staff for maybe a set period of time. Maybe they'd open up those shares to more people inside of their software house. Makes sense. Or if they are in the targets or crosshairs for a big company such as Sony or Microsoft, because I wouldn't rule either of them out perhaps in the running for that and making bids. I mean, they can make bids, but if they ever accepted a bid, those that have shares stand to profit the most, or stand to be 2p'd over to that company that buys them. So that kind of makes sense. So Professor Cynical could be onto something there when it comes to maybe announcing the new IP. But if you look at previous year, Hello Games have mentioned previous year that there's a new title in the works anyway. They mentioned it this year, Professor Cynical's right, but they've mentioned it previous year as well. So it's not new news. What Professor Cynical has picked up on is the fact that they just mentioned that they're working on new titles. That is not new news. It was there previous year as well, peeps. So it's not something that I sounded off on or made big waves about, because I did that previous year when they first mentioned that their new IP is mentioned inside the paperwork. I did a video on it then. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the top right corner. But there you go, people. So that's everything I've got for you. In that sort of sense. Now why I think Hello Games would not sell to Sony or Microsoft. So something that Hello Games seems to do with a lot of their titles, The Last Campfire, Joe Danger, and No Man's Sky is bring it to as many softwares as they can and platforms as they can to actually get the most out of their profit as they can. Now they've honed this skill and they've honed it quite well. They've even done cross-play and cross-platform. Now, if they were to sell out to Sony or Microsoft, that limits all of that experience that they've had, all the hard work that they've done as a studio to bring it cross-platform. It'd be shooting themselves in the foot. I can't honestly see that they would ever do that. And also, Sean Murray has already worked for large studios, and he wanted to set up his own studio to get away from the confines of a big studio. He wants a passionate small team. So it's not going to happen, people. Not in the foreseeable future, or at least not in my opinion anyway. Sound off in the comments if you think I'm wrong, or if you feel that there's more evidence to sway it the other way. Maybe there's something I haven't seen out there, people. But there you go, that's my take on everything. I wouldn't get too overly excited for a new IP. I think it's on the horizon though. I think 2024 could be when it gets announced, but not because of the reasons Professor Cynical's picked up on the financial data. I think that they might be announcing it soon, mainly because the amount of really bare bone basic bugs that they've let into their recentest of most updates. It's almost like they're distracted, they're taking their eye off the ball. It's like even the free decals inside of the store. Decal number 3, the Outlaw decal, shows the actual same sort of image as it does for the first decal, so there's a little mini bug there. It doesn't seem that they can put anything into game right now without it being properly tested for little mini bugs or nuances. Basic stuff, I'm talking very fundamental basic stuff, which to me makes me feel like their focus isn't fully on No Man's Sky. And I don't think they've just split half the team anymore, people. I think it's a bigger swathe than that, or else these basic mistakes just wouldn't happen. So I think 2024 is the year that we're going to hear from Hello Games about their new project, their new IP that they're working on. Until next time, people, goodbye, and goodbye again.